It is a Friday and we are wrapping up the AM Sports here, starting from the Parliament where the Deputy Majority Leader in Parliament, Alexander Afena-Gyan, called on the Minister of Youth and Sports to employ a psychologist for the Black Stars in subsequent tournaments. Ghana exited the 2022 FIFA World Cup group stages after the defeat to Uruguay, a match the players failed to turn up after Andrew missed a penalty.
Appeared disorganized, and the Uruguay match with great expectation. They conceded one goal, and again they were disorganized. So, Mr. Speaker, again, I'm not a football fan. I'm not an expert in the area of football. But these observations are very profound and clearly tells you that in our daily lives, how we go about things. Somebody may be sick and will be thinking about the sickness, and that will take him to his grave. Even medication will not work. Somebody may be sick, very serious ailment, but because the person has somebody psyching him how to manage the situation, that in itself is healing. And to me, that is where I think our boys did not get. Was it their fault? It couldn't have been their fault. So, Honorable Minister of Sports, Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports, please, going forward, a psychologist, a professional one who understands his work and the nature of football and an important game like that must be properly engaged to support. And Mr. Speaker, saying this to football, I will say it to us as parliamentarians. We sit here, we don't have communication specialists advising us what to say and what not to say. We don't have psychologists managing our exploits in public service.
Well, despite having a strong start with the Black Stars and former club AS Roma, striker Felix Afena-Gyan has endured a difficult period in the last 4 months. The striker was dropped from the final 26-man squad after failing to earn a starting spot following his transfer from Roma to Cremonese. Some Ghanaian football pundits have criticized the decision of the 19-year-old, but within his camp, there is full belief that he will be back in grand fashion. Joy Sports' Haruna Mubarak has got the rest in the following story.
Mkhitaryan, and it's tucked away by the teenager. Afena-Gyan scores for Roma.
Supported him into the senior national team of Ghana, the Black Stars, under then coach Otto Addo. Afena-Gyan was instrumental in Ghana's World Cup qualification and AFCON qualifiers against Madagascar and Central African Republic.
Gideon Mensah's ball in, and there's a second goal. It's a debut goal for Felix Afena-Gyan.
A boy living his dream. Then things changed. His move to Cremonese in the summer has not been fruitful. From failing to compete for a starting spot to being dropped from Ghana's 26-man squad for the 2022 World Cup, raising criticisms from various pundits, with many accusing his representatives of chasing money. His agent explains what necessitated the move.
Mourinho gave Afena the opportunities for a purpose, for some reasons, okay? And then after Roma's system or Roma's philosophy for the next season, the following season changed. It wasn't the same. You saw that Roma brought in Belotti. You saw that Roma brought, Roma tried to get all the big Dybala, brought in Dybala. So the philosophy changed. Okay, so it wasn't time for the Afena. But Afena still is young. He still has a lot of time. He still has a lot of opportunity. So go back to Cremona, play, and then get in up there. He can go back to Roma. He can go back to AC Milan. He can go to all the big to be ready to play. Unfortunately, we went to Cremona and things did not go the way we planned it.
Since his departure to the newly promoted Serie A side, Afena-Gyan has played 8 times in all competitions and netted 1 goal. There is a huge concern about the future of the forward after such a good start to his footballing career. But deep within his camp, there is no cause for alarm.
For me, I still believe in that move. I don't think that it was a wrong move. Okay, it was just that things did not go as planned because of other issues that I might not be able to say here. And I still believe that we would come back strong. The boy understands. We all know where we are, and the boy agreed on the move to Cremona. And we're still together. We still understand, and we still believe in what we have done, and know that the boy will get back to his form.
Cremonese will welcome Juventus when the Serie A resumes on January 4, 2023. An opportunity for Afena-Gyan to arrest his slumping form.
Away from football, Ghana's winter Olympian, Kwesi Frimpong, says he has never had the privilege of speaking to the Minister of Youth and Sports and anyone at the ministry, despite his efforts to ensure that he puts the country on the map. About a week ago, Kwesi Frimpong became the first African athlete to win a medal in Winter Olympics. He says maybe his efforts are not being valued by the people who are in charge of the government of sports in the country.
As of now, since I've started the sport, there hasn't been specifically any support from the government itself. When I say that, I mean that I've never received any support from the Ministry of Sports, for example, or from any of that area. I've always, tried to do it all through sponsorship, 100%. I have been a recipient from the IOC Olympic Scholarship, which was in support of the Ghana Olympic Committee, who signed it off, who helped me get that. So 3 years before the Olympic Games, you get a little support to be able to train. Unfortunately, it's a great opportunity. It's very helpful because every little thing helps, but it doesn't cut what you need for budget-wise to be able to hire some of the best coaching and to be able to compete against the big nations. So that has always been a struggle. I know that there's a lot of other athletes that also need support, need help, but I've always trying to push it through sponsorships. And eventually that becomes tough, right? When you're representing a nation and when you are trying to put your country on the map, these sponsors, they're also looking at that as well. For example, some of the sponsorship I had from the Netherlands, they feel like you're not really doing much for the Netherlands right now. And so for them, it becomes a little bit of a tricky thing of a market value where they feel like, the market is more in Africa, the market is more in Ghana, rather than, the market being the Netherlands for them as an individual representing Ghana. I hope that there's value in what I'm doing. I hope that he has seen what I have done, how I'm representing Ghana. I've never talked to the Minister of Sport before in my life from Ghana. I know of him, but I've never talked to him personally. Never has there been a message towards me after winning a bronze medal last week for Ghana on the winter sport, the very first time ever. All the fact that I just became the first African ever in history to have a podium finish on the World Championship with winter sport of all Africa out of 1.4 billion people. And I, up to the day of today, never heard of the Minister of Sport. So to me, I don't know why, but maybe I'm not worth it, and maybe I'm not delivering any value to them.
Ghana Badminton Association, Evans Yeboah, says the federation has achieved its objectives for the year 2022. He has been speaking to Joy Sports.
2022 was a marvelous success because we had a peak of our 2024 10-year National High Performance Program. And the peak of it was that we were selected into the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. So largely, if you look at Birmingham, all the 64 countries which were represented in the male division, Ghana Badminton was 17th out of the 64 countries that played badminton at the highest level of Commonwealth of Nations. When you look at the female section, Ghana Badminton was 9th out of the 37 female countries that female contingent across all the 72 nations that came. So So for us, it was showing the success of our junior and our senior high performance program. Again, we continue with our coaching development. We continued even last week with our development workshop where we invited all our regional and stakeholders to plan for 2023, and it was also a success. So for us, it's been involving and engaging. Our All Ghana National Championship we held in July was also massively attended by the highest number of more than 200 athletes. Again, it shows our prowess and the things that Ghana Badminton is doing for a good year come 2023.
That's your AM Sports, but we do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. The show continues right after this round of messages.